Over the last couple of weeks, I have been in the process of upgrading and buying some new equipment, and today we are going to be talking about what you can see in front of me, and that is audio. Now, I've decided I need to upgrade my microphone setup because frankly, it has been terrible, and I have decided to go with the Rode Podmic as well as the Rode microphone stand, and I've ordered myself a new audio interface as well, which is the PreSonus 24C. Now today I'm going to give you guys an overview of all of this equipment that I have chosen to go with. We're going to take a close look at the Podmic, the Rode stand as well, and the reasons I went for the Rode one over some of the other cheaper ones that is out there too. Then when it actually arrives, we'll take a look at the PreSonus 24C, and hopefully at the end of the video I'll give you my thoughts on all this equipment, and then we'll actually try it out and see how it actually sounds compared to what I'm using now. Now this audio is actually being recorded on the Rode Wireless Go with the Rode Lavia, and that is connected into my computer via OBS via my sound card, so it isn't actually a digital USB input. It's going in manually via a standard microphone input. However, once we've got the PreSonus, we'll actually be doing that via the audio interface as well. Anyway, let's get on with this. The first thing we're going to do is jump in to have a look at the Podmic itself. I'll give you my thoughts on that. Then we'll take a look at the microphone stand as well. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take a closer look at the Podmic itself. Now what I'm going to do is unbox it as I'm talking to you and give you my thoughts and reasons for choosing the Podmic over, say, some of the other ones out there. Now, the Podmic is a dynamic microphone, and that was the first major reason I chose it. That means, though, it is going to need a fairly decent amount of amplification, and I will talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Further to the fact that it was a dynamic, it was its overall shape, design, and the feedback on the quality of it that attracted me to it, and hopefully it should be the best option for my personal needs. Now, the fact that it is a dynamic means it's going to need a fairly decent amount of amplification. I've gone, as I said, with the PreSonus 24C, and whilst that does have nearly 60 dB of amplification, it might not be enough for this, and I really don't know at this stage. I might have to look at something like a Cloud Lifter or the DM1 amplifier to go in line. Here and now, though, what I'm going to do is set it up, test it, and see how I get on before purchasing that. But it is something that I am aware of. Now, I actually got a bit of a deal on the PreSonus 24C, and I actually got it at a bit of a discount because it's a sort of semi-refurbished model. However, if I'd have gone for the 26C, that actually has up to 70 dB, and that might actually be a better option. But I've gone with the 24. We will see how it goes. Okay, let's take a look inside, and I haven't been in this myself, so I'm assuming it slides out. Now, what I will say about this microphone is the first thing, oh, it's still taped at the top, is that it is extremely heavy. The weight of it is incredible when you first pick it up. Okay, so I'm just going to slide it out. Top of the box comes off like that. And then inside, you have the box like that, and then on the side of it you've got a load of info like that. Now if I just go in a bit closer and spin it round, you can see that Rode have put all of the information on the side. So it's a Podmic dynamic podcasting microphone. They give you basically just an overview of all of the stuff, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's flip the lid. And this lifts up, and you have just this little cardboard section here. I don't think there's actually anything in that. The noise you can hear is these little bits just rattling back and forth. Then inside the box, I've got the Rode mic. Now what is quite interesting is how dirty it actually looks. Now is that off the cardboard then, is it? Yeah, it's marks, it's white paint or whatever it is on the cardboard coming off on the microphone. It's just one of those silly things that when you get a product out and you see some dirt or something on it, it does make you think a bit off. So you got the microphone. Now this thing is so heavy, it really is. If I just switch back to there, it is shocking how much this weighs. You just don't expect it to weigh that much. I can't remember what the spec is. I'll put it up on the bottom of the screen now in a moment. But it is absolutely solidly made. It really is. All of the reviews I saw did say that. However, you're not expecting it until you get it out. So then what else we got in here? There isn't a lot in this box, if I'm honest. And then we've got a little leaflet from Rode and some silica gel. So that is the unboxing of the microphone. You get a leaflet and you get a microphone. So let me throw that over there. Let's take a closer look at the mic itself. So if I go back on the top, I'm going to put myself up in the corner as well for you. So as you can see, on the top of the microphone, we've got the grill, and the grill goes all the way around and down. Now, the input area on this microphone is at the top. So when you are talking into this mic, you are not talking into it from the side, here or here. You are actually going to be talking into it from there. So this is the area that the audio will be going into from the top, and it'd be quite easy to make a mistake on this and assume you'd be talking into it like that. However, you're not. You're talking into it like that. Anyway, taking a closer look around, you can see that you've got the Rode logo on the side. I don't know what this is made of. I wouldn't even say it's cast aluminium. It's cast. It feels like cast something, but it has an extremely high quality feel to it. You've then on the side, we've got these two knobs. Now I'm guessing these undo to actually adjust the position. And that is a very nice, smooth adjustment. So we can then lock it down and then you tighten them up. And whilst you can move it, it is solid. It's not going to move itself. Then looking on the back, we've got our XLR input with the Podmic information, just saying made in Australia, the serial number, and that then. And then that really is it for the microphone. It really is as straightforward as that. Now there is something here, actually. I don't know what that is. It almost looks like a bit of a connector. I don't think there's anything. Is there anything in the leaflet? No, there isn't. The leaflet consists of, try and get it to hold, that and that. So that is it for the leaflet. But there is a connection down here, which is quite interesting. And then if I skip back to the top, you've then got the thread input in the bottom for plugging in. So you can then put it on our stand, and we'll be doing that in a second anyway to show you that. So that is it for the microphone. You know, it really is that simple for the unboxing. Now, the next thing we're going to take a look at, if I get rid of them as well, is the Rode stand. Now, this is the PSA1. I chose this specifically for a reason. Now, there are cheaper stands out there that are very, very similar. This was delivered to me from Amazon, and on Amazon there are a number of stands out there very similar to this, almost identical design, and they are up to half the price. However, the Rode stand is a better quality one, I believe, overall, but it also comes with two options for your desk clamp. It's got a traditional clamp on, but it's also got a piece you can drill into the desk and do it that way, so it's a permanent fit solution. Now, I actually would prefer that, and the reason is I want the option to be able to move it. I want to be able to put it here for using here, but I also want to be able to pick it up and move it to the back next to the computer and use it over there without having to mess around with clamps. And that is the reason I have gone for the Rode, but it does come at that price increase. So what we're going to do now is unbox this as well and take a look at this. Now, this looks less packaged. You've just got Rode logo on the side there. So I'm looking at the monitor to make sure you can see it. Just trying to get in. Okay, we've got whatever that is, a piece of it. There is a loose adapter for the connector. I think there's something else. Okay. More cardboard. And I think, oh no, there's definitely something else in it. At the bottom, this end. Oh, we've got a leaflet, like Rode like to give us. So that is the box dealt with. That is that piece dealt with. So we've got whatever this is as well. So, okay, what have we actually got here? So this is the desk clamp. So this is the traditional style clamp that goes on your desk. If I go to the top camera, you can see it's a traditional kind of clamp. You've got your screw thread on the bottom. You've got your road logos, and yeah, you know, not a lot particularly interesting to say about it other than it feels nice and weighty, fairly decent quality. So that'll go onto a desk nice and solid without any problems. Then we have this box here. Aha. Now this is the bit I was telling you about just now. Let's get this out. This is the permanent desk connector. So rather than have this clamped on your desk, you will have this screwed into your desk. So we've got a thread, a threaded boss. So you would actually put a hole in your desk, a permanent fixture, put that through, bolt it all up underneath, and that gives you then the option to have it as a permanent solution. And that was one of the reasons I actually went with this system, because I'm going to be using both of the options here, one over there. And whilst you could say, well, I could have just bought two of the cheaper arms, I didn't really want two arms. I just wanted the ability to be able to pick one up and move it. So we've got our two clamps. Let's get rid of that. We've then got our leaflet from Rode, which shows us some stuff. Just to show you that, it shows some stuff there, some stuff there on how it works and how it moves around. So yeah, that's fairly straightforward. And then hopefully this, I would assume, is the stand. Now it's a bit smaller. Let me get a knife for getting into this, a blade. This is a bit easier to get into than some other things I've had, and it's a bit smaller than I thought. I thought the unit was going to be bigger. Get rid of that, get rid of that. And this is the mic arm stand itself. Now, it's a spring-loaded unit, obviously, so what we've got is our section at the bottom here, which goes either into our desk boss or our clamp, which is that one there. You've then got the arm that obviously comes up, across and down, and then we've got our microphone option at the top here, which is like a double, it's a double wing nut, and then you've got the option to adjust that, and then this will actually rotate here. If I go to the overhead, just to show you, so what you've got is you've got this double wing nut assembly on either side, which allows that to move up and down. And then you've got this, obviously, for attaching up to that. It's a little bit rougher than I would have liked. Feels like it almost wants a bit of grease. It's okay. Now I've turned it a bit, it's okay. It just feels a little tad rough, that's all. Okay, so we've then got this caution spring loaded. Notice, now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to pull this off. I'm going to cut it off. So I'm going to use a knife. Straight up there. And as it says, be careful. And that is it going out from there. Now what I don't know is how it stays in place. Is it the weight of the microphone? I'm guessing it's the weight of the mic that keeps it where you put it. So what we need to do is bolt it onto our desk. Okay, so I've temporarily bolted the clamp onto here, just on the clamp mechanism. And what we're then going to do is pop him in just like that. And then that is the arm in. Probably need to wrench that up a little bit more. Now, something I did know about this is that it is very stiff. It is a very stiff unit to use. Now, what I'm going to then do is we're going to get the mic on and see how it feels. Now, they do include this adapter, brass adapter with it as well. Now, this mic will take both kinds, actually, of connections, but I'm probably going to go with the... Do I need to go with the larger one? No, what? I probably don't. So let's just have a look. I'm going to pop him there, tighten that down. I'm going to put the thread back. And then that is that tight. And then going to adjust it get it to where I think it would roughly be ideal. So I think for me, I'd like it something like that. Tighten it up. And then we've got the adjustment on that. So that just stays loose then, I assume. That doesn't actually tighten down. We can then adjust the mic, position it. Oh, and it stays where we put it. So if I put that there, it would be like that. Now, obviously, because this is a dynamic, it is going to be wanting to be in nice and close. So I can come in like that, which is no good because you can't see me. So, you know, we're going to be talking something like that. Possibly somewhere like that as well, with the ability to maybe kick it down a gear. Now, I haven't quite decided where any of this is going to go here yet. So I might end up actually putting the arm further back and having it more like that, with the boss at the further back, so it's much lower down. We could then, if we wanted to, flip the unit upwards and do it that way, and then tighten it in place. Let's just try that. I'm assuming it allows you to do it that way. There we go. Or even have it on its side, like that, and probably actually go for something like that with it as well. But that is it overall. Now, something I will say about this, my first impressions, obviously, because I've literally just tried this, it is stiff, and there were a lot of people saying very stiff to move around on the reviews, but I don't find it that bad. To me, it's pretty good. You know, you can swing it out the way. That's something I'm going to have to be aware of, because obviously it needs to stay where I put it. And that is really because in the stand there, it's not screwing into anything, it's just sitting in, but I can fold it up and put it out of the way like that. But we can do it that way. So that's it in the full, and then it can go down as far as that. But I think for me, we'll end up probably something along the lines of this. Now, as I did say earlier, just one thing I will mention is, as I said, this is a microphone where you have to speak in the top. It isn't the side. As much as it's got the grills, they do make sure that you do that. Now, that is about it. I've got some adjustments I need to make on there, I think, just to tighten it up. But I think that is about it. Now, overall impressions. I'm okay. I'm happy. Microphone, love. I think so far, very good. Obviously, no audio at this point. We'll do that when I actually get the PreSonus. That hasn't arrived yet. And that might be a second part of this video, or I might just put this out as it is. I haven't quite decided that. You will find out in the next bit of this video. But overall, I have to say, fairly happy. Some things I will add. This clamp needs a lot of pressure. It is moving, so let me just wrench it down a bit further again. Because there is quite a bit of pressure needed on this, you will need to make sure that what this is clamped to is strong, because it is going to rip it off if you don't. This is a sort of half temporary and legit desk, and I wouldn't want to bolt it to this at all. But overall, so far, I am happy. Everything looks good. Now then, for the setup, we've obviously got to get the cable. Now mine is over here. I ordered a 2-meter XLR. What did I end up with? Noble microphone gear from Amazon. A couple of quid. That's what I ended up with. And they've all come with these Velcro straps. And you do get Velcro straps, actually, with this unit as standard. Again, I will just add, the audio you're hearing is not from this at the moment, obviously, because there's no cable connected. But then we're going to be doing something along the lines of, where is it? No, sorry, wrong side. Me being an idiot. I'm going to go in there. And then we've got these little Rode Velcro straps. You will need to make sure when you are doing your cable, you don't get it in this gap in the middle, because this gap in the middle closes down, remember. As you move the stand, these gaps open and close. So as I open that up, it goes up, and as I put it down, the gap closes down. So the cable needs to actually be along the top of the square rod, not along the bottom. I'm just going to do this. And then that will go into my audio interface when it actually arrives. So yeah, that is it. So first impressions out the box, happy, all good. Need a very strong desk though. I do even think, and that's worktop. This desk here is 38mm worktop, and that is surprising how much that is moving. So you do need a good stand. Now my plan here is for this one. This is what's going to get put into there. And then that will be done like that, and then it can be stored away out the way and then brought out for use when I want it. Something along the lines of that. So overall, yeah, happy. Next thing we need to do is actually get it plugged in, turned on, and actually see how it sounds. Okay, it is a few days later and my audio interface has finally arrived. Now I've gone for the PreSonus Studio 24C. Now I actually had a bit of a deal on this one because it was factory refurbished or ex-demo basically from a dealer in the UK. I actually got it for £92. Now that is what I am using to connect up the road through my PC via OBS as you've got here. Now the audio you're hearing at this moment in time is still on the Rode Wireless Go, and I will be switching over to this now in a moment. Now overall I have to say I'm quite impressed with the 24C so far. I've used it for a couple of days having a play and everything looks good. However, I do want to say this, there is not enough gain on the 24C to drive this microphone properly. That has now become clear. I was aware that I might need to get something like a cloud lifter or a FET head, and I can tell you now that something like the PreSonus, whilst it can drive it at maximum, you are having to put the gain up to absolutely maximum to do it. So if you are looking at getting this setup, I would strongly advise getting yourself one of those preamplifiers alongside this as well. Now I did look at the options on the 26C because the 24C has 50 dB of gain and the 26C actually has nearly 70, I think it is. Now that would have given me a bit more headroom. However, I would have rather gone with this and then add the FET head to give clean audio boosting rather than still have the amplifiers on the interface all the way up the top, because the reality is that will introduce some noise. So let's give you guys a demo of how it sounds. So it's all hooked up. I'm going to switch over now the audio. And now you are hearing the audio on the Rode Podmic. Now I've got it tuned in OBS and I've actually turned one or two of the settings off, and I'll explain them a little bit. Now at the moment now we are on the PreSonus and it is virtually on full gain. It's just a tad below, and the reason I've got it a tad below is it tends to introduce a little bit more noise when it is on the maximum, but you don't really lose much volume when you turn it down a touch. Now what I have been doing is using the gain within OBS to bring the volume up a little bit as well, but I've actually turned that off this second just to give you the exact sound as the microphone is. So the first thing I'm going to do is give you guys a clean audio test. So I'm going to shut up. So that gives you an idea of the kind of noise. If I just check where I am, it was a tad below full. I've just literally knocked it to the top. Now I'll do that clean audio test again. And you will hear that there is a little bit of noise, and that is because we are driving the preamps in the PreSonus 24 to the absolute maximum. Now the plan is for me to actually add probably a DM1, I think it is, or the TNT stick, or I might get a FET head. Cloud lifters in the UK are about, I think they're roughly 150 quid. So the other two options are a little bit cheaper. If you don't know what they are basically a preamplifier that goes between your audio interface and your microphone, but they provide clean audio gain. So what you should get is a boost in that signal up to normally about 26 dB, but without that noise that you can hear that I'm getting on the amplifier. And then I can actually wind the gain right down on the PreSonus, and that way then we're going to get that boosted audio that we wanted. Now, as I said, this is it straight out the unit. I'm just going to knock it back that touch. And what I am going to do now is just turn on two of the features that I have been using within OBS. The first is putting about 3.5 dB of gain on top of this audio, so the audio interface coming in. And the second thing I've been turning on is the noise filter, and that just cuts the background noise out when I'm not using any audio, when I'm not speaking, and it actually is a noise cut to remove any of that ambient noise. So what we're going to do first of all is turn on that 3 dB gain within OBS so you guys can hear that, and then I'll actually turn on the noise cut secondly, just to give you guys an idea of that as well. So what we'll do is turn on the gain first of all. Okay, so that is exactly the same now, but with the 3.5 dB of gain added within OBS. Now this should get my audio levels to where I expect them to be, and just about right. Now if I just do the silent audio test again, just so you can hear the background, and whilst it isn't silent in this room, you've got the noise of the PC, you shouldn't hear any of that interference noise that you get in traditionally, but this will just show you what it's like. So that gives you an idea of the ambient noise. And what I'm going to do now is turn on the noise cut filter, just so you guys can hear how that sounds now too. Okay, so I am now back on. This is with the noise filter enabled in OBS, as well as that 3.5 dB of gain. And hopefully this will give you an idea of how this setup can sound. Now, as I have already said, really, I do need that preamplifier device to use this with the 24C properly. And whilst you can use it, you are having to put the preamps on the 24C basically at maximum, which does tend to introduce some noise. I am using OBS to push it along a little bit, which helps me reduce it a tad, but for the cleanest audio, we're going to want either that Fathead, the Cloud Lifter, or the DM1, and I am going to get one of them to put on this system. But if you are looking at that, don't forget you do need to make sure your audio interface does have phantom power. The 24C does, so I've got no problems there at all. Now, just to give you some audio overview of this, how it sounds on the desk and things, it isn't bolted onto this desk, it is bolted onto the one next to me. So if I'm picking things up on this desk, hopefully there won't be too much noise as I'm talking. Just to give you a type test with a keyboard, this is a 2016 MacBook Pro, which has the horrible clicky keyboard, and hopefully you will be able to hear what that sounds like as I'm doing it. Now, just to also give you an overview of what the audio is like from different positions on the microphone. If I move to the side and talk here, you will hear what the audio is like here. If I talk around the side of the microphone, you'll hear what it sounds like from this position here. If I rotate the microphone away from me, you'll have a hear of how it actually rejects background noise as well, and what it actually sounds like. If I put it up to the top, so I am talking at the microphone side on, and then back to straight pointing at my mouth about 5-6 inches away, and this is where I intend to use it overall. Okay, just to show you the audio level with me up and close to the microphone now. Now, I do believe the Podmic does have a built-in pop filter, but you can still hear those noises, the plosives and things like that when you are up close. Now, I am talking a little bit quieter now, so I'm not quite driving my audio into the microphone as I was whilst it was a little bit further away. I can increase my volume a bit and you'll hear what it sounds like there. And I do traditionally record a little bit louder than I would usually talk, but you can bring it down and quieter and talk it a little bit closer, and it does sound very good when you do that. Now, I have found it does tend to behave a little bit better when you're talking across the microphone rather than straight in. So for instance, if I was to just bring it by there and sort of talk across the mic, I was finding it was sounding pretty good this way rather than actually going straight into it. The audio's heading off that way, and then the microphone can pick that up like that. But again, this is just to demo what the audio can sound like when you are up and close. And obviously then you can get in really close if you want to and talk right down into the microphone if that's the kind of thing you want to do. But obviously you're going to need to adjust your gain settings when you do that. Now that is pretty much it for this video. I am happy with the setup so far. With regards to the Rode Podmic, I really like it. It's extremely well built, extremely heavy, it feels solid, and it feels like a quality microphone. I'm also very happy with the Rode arm as well, and whilst there are some cheaper ones out there that are very similar, I am glad I went with the Rode model because I did get the extra fitting as well. And whilst some people could say, well, you can almost get two of the other ones for the price of the Rode, I didn't need two arms. I just wanted the ability, well, I do need two arms, but I didn't need two of these, but I just wanted the ability to be able to have that boss as well as the desk mount fitting as well. With regards to the PreSonus 24C, as I said, I had a bit of a deal on this one, and so far I am extremely happy with it. Only downside is the fact I do need to spend again to get that FetHead or that audio device, but I was expecting that anyway. If you are looking to get yourself this mic, I would strongly suggest you price in one of the pre-audio devices at the start when you are pricing up getting your equipment. I think you're going to need it. Now, what is interesting is that I think anything with about 70 dB of gain would be okay. There's 50 on this because the Rode Podcaster has 70 dB of gain, and I don't believe you're having to actually use any preamps with that, and this mic is designed to be used with that system. But for me, I'd rather have the amplifiers right down on the audio interface and then boost it before it. Now, that is it for this video. If it's been useful, please do consider hitting that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the little bell next to it as well. I will release an update video in a month or two giving you my longer term views on this system as well. I also have a second channel where I live stream on a weekly basis on a Sunday night, roughly 10 PM UK, 5 PM Eastern time. If you're interested in that, there's a link to that channel in the description of this video as well. And that is it for this one. Thank you for watching. Please do stay safe, and I will release an update in a month or so.